Alrighty, let's we'll get set up here in just a second. Surprise stream. Yay!
Heart be pure, evil be erased. Mind purged.
Yeah, early-ish. This is a surprise stream, so I'm early. It only lets you set the stream starting thing in like 15-minute intervals, and it was like 7:47 when I wanted to start it, so it was like, I'll set it for 8. It's fine. Right, okay. I want to do 2 things really quick. I had to turn my whatchamacallit, dialogue volume way up because I wanted to. I know, Paimon, we love you too, but not right now. I had to turn the volume all the way down because it annoys me when they talk and I'm talking, but I like to hear them during cutscenes, so I had turned it up again. And anyway, hi. Yeah, okay, so here's what's up. Here's what's up, and here's why I'm like in this weird spot in Liyue, where probably everyone has probably finished this area like forever ago and they've forgotten everything, just like me. So here's the deal. I have been attempting for the last couple of days to piece together everything I thought I knew about Liyue's history and the lore, and I've realized that most of Liyue's history makes no sense. None. Like, there's a lot of things that make... like, we have no idea... Hang on. What this entire province here in green, we have no idea what any of this is. We've got no lore for it. Like, zero. There is zero lore for any of this. We know a little bit about the Dunyu. A little bit about this one. We know nothing about this. We know nothing about this. And we know nothing about this. And, like, these all seem to be connected. And it's really bugging the crap out of me. And actually, we're going to start over here. Because there's something I want to look at first. This whole area is not answered, and I'm wondering if a lot of that has to do with the fact that it might be linked to the chasm. So today's investigation is a little bit weird because, like, I can't actually read about this. Like, I can't read about it because there's nothing on it anywhere. Like, there's no information on it. And because there's no information on it, we kind of have to go make some inferences. About what this civilization was, what it was doing here, and how important it is to, like, current Liyue lore. Because there's one little thing that popped up over and over again that makes me wonder if it's important, but if we just absolutely don't know anything, and if it makes more sense to put it in a chasm video instead, since we're going to be getting the chasm next patch. So that's what we're here for today. That's what we're looking into. And I want to start over here because you see these statues. I don't know if you guys know this, but these are actually Yaksha statues. What I can't quite confirm is whether or not they are statues of the Yaksha, or if they're like golem-based statues used by the Yaksha. Because here's the thing. This right here, this is Xiao's special ceremonial thing that he set up. If you do his story quest, this gets all set up, and that's why the flowers are here and all that other stuff. So, and part of his whole thing here is to use these statues. Like, they're here, and then in multiple places, and in a story quest, these get called Yaksha statues. So I'm trying to figure out, like, if they have any actual significance, and I don't know how to do that. But the one thing I will say, you know, since we're here, and since we're going to go all thematic for a bit, let's swap teams. I want to show you something. I'm going to show you something and why this is weird and why it bugs me. Hang on. So these are called Yaksha statues, yes? established that. I've been able to cite some sources for it. It makes sense. It's called that in a story quest, yada, 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 yada. These statues are all over Lisha. All over. But look at this. You see the Bowen's cross on the back of Zhongli's thing? And then you see that they have the friggin' Bowen's cross right there on the statue. Well, I got to thinking that we know that the Yaksha are considered Adepti, but they're like a specific type of Adepti. And the Adepti are also what Zhongli is. So Zhongli is technically the prime of the Adepti. He's technically an Adepti, right? So I got to wondering if the Yaksha and the Adepti weren't originally like all one race that kind of got split, and Zhongli kind of ruled over them in a way, or maybe he didn't. Maybe someone else did, and he's just one of the people who ended up taking over for whatever reason in history that we don't actually have information for. And that would kind of explain some things about how the Yaksha and the Adepti would get along. I'm kind of like thinking my thoughts out loud here. Because, okay, this mountain here, Mount Tianheng, this place here, this was the first mountain that Zhongli rose when he descended. It was the first thing he did. He rose this mountain, which makes you think that, well, he must have established something here, right? So if he established something here, and this was like his domain, you got to remember that as being an Adepti, he was here with at least 4 other Adepti, including Cloud Retainer, Mountain Carver, Moon Carver, Mountain Shaper, and probably Sea Gazer, because he has a domain here. And what's the other one with the antlers that I can't remember the name of right now? And at least one more. And we know they had domains here. This was like their home. So having a Yaksha statue guarding an Adeptal home in this mountain, Skybracer, yeah, that one, thank you. So having Yaksha statues outside of an Adeptal home kind of makes sense if they're supposed to be like the warrior class of the Adepti, right? But then this is where it gets confusing, because these statues are found all over the friggin' the Lisha province, like all over here, all the way up through the Tianchong Valley and into, I can't say these properly, don't kill me. Nantianmen, they're all through up in here, all this whole western area, right? Yeah, Adepti and Yokai, that is a good point. But the thing is that right now we're only talking about Liyue specifically. I do think, as a side note, that someone like Yaemiko is technically the same species as an Adepti, because they're technically just, Adepti is just what you call a race of illuminated beasts, right? And they do have human forms, just like Xiao. Xiao has a bird form, and he also has this human form that he spends most of his time in. And I just think that it's very similar to what Yaemiko is. But anyway, the point here that I'm trying to make is that if the Yaksha are Adepti and they were all part of the same thing, and that we find Yaksha statues outside of an Adeptal home, and we also find Yaksha statues in all sorts of other places, then that suggests that this entire western region might have been Morax's domain. Which is confusing for a lot of reasons. Like this whole thing could have been the fort that he first established, right? Because like a lot of this pillar specifically matches most of the architecture in this area, right? So up here is where Sea Gazer's domain was, in this pool area. You've got these lions, which are also found in Liyue Harbor. You got this stupid ass thing. Right? Like the architecture matches as you continue to go up this mountain. So, go away. Here's where things get annoying. Monstadt is weird. Monstadt has like nothing compared to Liyue. Like Liyue, by my estimate, Zhongli has fought and killed at least 4 sea monster gods alone. And it said he killed, like, a lot more. Which is weird. Like, he killed 4 of them. Not just docile. Like, a lot more than that. And you see over there? You see the statues? You see them? This here is the same architecture that's on top of Mount Tianheng. So if Tianheng is Morax's domain, then that stands to reason that this should also be his domain. Which is weird. I wanna fly. Let me fly. See? Here they are again. It's like what are they doing over here if this is a different civilization altogether? That means this civilization has to be the same as the one where Mount Tianheng is, right? Like, it has to. But this took over the entire western area. This whole thing, this entire area is riddled with these statues, all the way to Luhua Pool. And Luhua Pool, interestingly enough, right here, this is Guizhong's domain, right here. This one, specifically. This is her domain. So we know that she was at this spot for at least a specific period of time. And then over here is the Guili Plains, where the Guili Assembly was, and the Guili Assembly is where Morax. I want to call him Zhongli whenever I talk about Guili, because, like, I kind of figured that was his initial name too. Anyway, Morax and Guizhong had the Guili Assembly in this area. But it's weird that they would extend their whole region north when they had this entire area here to defend. And then, on top of that, it's super weird if that is... If this kind of, like, canyony area is, in fact, Morax's domain, because when Guizhong and Morax formed their alliance, the Guizhong Ballista right here was placed here. And if you look, it's facing this way, out into this canyon region, which means it's facing all of these cities over here, and not the ocean over here, where Liyue Harbor is. It can't even point at them. I'm like, I guess it could go here? I mean, right? Like, I guess it could just shoot downwards into whoever goes through here. But that's still odd, because after she and Cloud Retainer built this and placed it here, they ended up migrating north to Guili Plains. So they would have had to, like, go through this harbor area all the way up through the mountains and then come up here and establish a capital here. But why would you establish a new capital city here when you had this whole area here? Right? Like, why would you do that? This is where I'm so, like, completely baffled by this timeline. Like, I've got the majority of it down. I understand most of it. I can make sense of most of it. But Lisha, this area here, and if you're wondering, here. This area over here is the Sea of Clouds. You've got the estuary up here where the Guili Plains is. And apparently, their domain extended from Guili Plains, or from Mount Tianheng, right here, all the way up to Stone Gate, which is right here. So they basically dominated this entire region here, back before Dihua Marsh was actually flooded and became a marsh, because before it was actually like a whole thing of plains and swamplands. So, like, I find that really, really confusing, because that is a massive domain, especially if they also had this here. Because, like, this over here is about 5 times the size, if not more, of Liyue Harbor. And Liyue Harbor is currently, like, the largest trading metropolis in the entirety of Teyvat. So, I'm really confused. I hate this. Yeah, okay, but Zhongli found Ajdaha in the chasm 2,000 years ago. The period of time I'm talking about is anywhere from 6,000 years ago to 3,700 years ago, because the Guili assembly fell around 3,700 years ago, because that's when the founding of Liyue Harbor was. And we know that Morax and Guizhong would have had to meet before then, for obvious reasons, because you can't really have an assembly together. You've never met. That's kind of weird. So, like, there's 1,700 years of history before Zhongli finds Ajdaha. And Zhao, for that matter. As far as I can tell, Zhao has never met Guizhong. Which is also interesting, but for different reasons. Which way was I going? I was going over here, right? Oh, okay, I was going here. I'm gonna go back here. I don't recall reading anything about him lifting the harbor out of the water back then. But it's also kind of weird that, like, the lord of the land would make a city. No, you cannot. Would make a city on the water when he's fought no less than 4 separate sea monsters. Like, does that bother no one else? Who is Guizhong? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, you poor sweet summer child. How many of you actually don't know who Guizhong is? Seriously, how many of you don't know who Guizhong is? Because, like, am I just, like, telling you guys things that you really, really, really don't know, and that's also problematic for different reasons? Oh my god. No. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Fine. Don't. Fine, don't crit. It's okay. I don't care. That's fine. We'll just overkill. It's fine. I don't mind. Disturbing my thought process. Oh, hey, Or, I want this. Yeah, Guizhong is the god of dust. That's correct. She met Zhongli and proposed an alliance, and they created the Guili Assembly, which was, you know, the thing that was in the Guili Plains. So that's like basically this whole ruin system over here was entirely like their city civilization, and they built this huge network of agricultural and mining trades and such. They're very, very prosperous. This whole area here was not flooded. It was not a marsh. It was like lowlands that they planted and stuff. You know, I don't blame anyone for not remembering anything about Guizhong, because that was, if you've been playing since launch, that would have been a long time ago for you. And she hasn't really been brought up since, because we haven't really done much with Zhongli or Liyue since. So I don't blame anyone for not remembering that. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going on here. Okay, if you can't remember who Guizhong is, she's the one who created Memory of Dust. She gave Zhongli his meteor, basically. Hi. Maybe... I still don't know if I like Jade's spear on Xiao. I still don't know. I mean, I like it aesthetically, but I kind of like Calamity Queller better aesthetically on Chim. But anyway, so when Zhang, let's see if I can get him to do his idol. I'll just let him sit here for a minute. The little meteor that floats around Zhongli, that's considered one of the memory of dust. And the memory of dust was a puzzle box, basically given to Zhongli by Guizhong as a sign of their pact. Or pledge, rather. And now the interesting thing is that Morax here is the god of contracts, yes? And he was not the god of contracts way back then. He was just the Lord of Rock. And, yeah. So, she made a pledge, he made a pledge, and a pledge is basically just a promise. Two people promise that they're going to do things, and they just kind of assume that the other will do it, right? There's not really anything holding them accountable, necessarily. But Guizhong's pledge was for them to rule Liyue in peace together with her brains and his brawn, because I have dubbed him Meathead Morax, because he was, if you read about old school Zhongli, he was not the history refined retired grandpa that he is today. He was basically I solve everything with muscles kind of guy. He just beat his problem into submission. He was a real Meathead Morax. That's what I'm calling him. I don't care what anyone says. So like after that, Guizhong dies, right? And when she dies, she breaks her pledge. And making a pledge is basically breaking a promise. And Morax decided, oh, that's illegal, and got really mad about it. And then decided that anyone who breaks their promises in the future would be punished by the wrath of the rock, therefore the law, and therefore he became the god of contracts, because he was traumatized so hard by her broken promise that he decided he would never, ever, 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 ever break a promise ever again, which is also why he won't tell us shit about Conria or the Archon War or anything else, because he's promised somebody else, and it's his contract, and he's promised he's never, ever going to break a contract ever again. So anyway, she has a very large bearing on his character as a whole. And it's honestly kind of heartbreaking the amount of trauma that he went through when she died. Because he wasn't exactly someone who was very in tune with himself. Hey, look. A sigil. Give me that. Anyway, we have more Yaksha statues here. Why? Like, this place is so weird. Like, what would this type of building have been used for? And why is it, like, half submerged in the rocks? I don't quite understand it. Because, like, in order to get things inside of rocks like that, you'd have to build them into the rocks. But if these are built into the rocks, then they're essentially, like, towers and stuff that just go nowhere. Look, like, this just goes nowhere. Like, these steps go nowhere. They just end. Why? What was this building for? Well, I mean, I can kind of answer that. Dunyu here, right here, this was a very large mining trading hub for a while. I know that much. That much I can say. But look how many Yakshas. They're like, okay, look. Okay, maybe you can't see them very well. Okay, you see these spears right here? How there are like these 3 spears crossed? These are the spears that are on the Yaksha statues, which means that there's shit down here somewhere. So maybe this whole region's just sinking? Is this whole region just sinking? Is that what's going on? Maybe? I find this incredibly annoying. Like, incredibly annoying. And I can't... Like, we just have no answers. I can't find any written records. I can't find any, like, little tidbits. There's no story quest mentions. There's no archaeological hints apart from the Yaksha statues. And I'm honestly kind of out of ideas. Because, like, I'm gonna go look at the Ballista again. I'm gonna go look at the Ballista. What puzzles? I already did the puzzles. I've cleared this area a long time ago. Actually, come to think of it, the puzzles make this even worse. They do, because you see, at each of these... okay. At each of these three things, Dunyu, Lingshu, and Qingshu, and I'm going to say Xingqiu, I just know it. It's not him, but you know, this one, and this one. You will find something called a nameless treasure at each of these locations. The nameless treasure tells stories about the Adepti, which was probably sealed here later, but it's weird that it's sealed there. All right, so this ballista here is aimed in this direction. And I don't think it can move around. It can only go up and down, right? Shouldn't this only be able to go up and down? It doesn't look like it can speed around. Maybe it can. Either way, this seems like a really terrible place if it's supposed to, like, be aiming at anything towards the sea, which means they weren't worried about anything towards the sea. But she put this here for defensive reasons. We have records of that. But it's pointing in this direction? In this direction? What even is in this direction? Nothing. This is the stupidest thing. This is like super odd. No, they totally had conflict with sea gods. I can place 4 different sea serpent gods all over Liyue at 4 different points in time. I know they had issues, especially because this entire Lisha region at one point was completely flooded. And I'm like 80% sure another god lived here, and I'm also like 80% sure it was probably the god that, you know, imprisoned Xiao. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Fairly certain. God, it's so weird, though. We are not going to talk about Ephonia, okay? Wipe her from your memory. I'm telling you right now, she's got nothing to do with the Welkin Moon, and I don't want to hear anything more about her. I really don't. Vilvi and Alicia, honestly, are far more suspicious than Ephonia is. Just trust me. Just, yeah. If you believe anything about Ephonia being the Welkin Moon, I swear to God, you've just gotten clickbaited. Like, so hard. Unless, if you're into Honkai lore and you actually have played the Elysian Realms and then you think that, then okay, fine, you're entitled to that opinion. But if you only play Genshin and you're looking at Ephonia and being like, oh my God, Welkin Moon, oh my God, Celestia, don't think that, please. Like, the patch isn't even out yet, and even what we know so far kind of contradicts everything there, so, but anyway. She's suspicious, but not for the reasons you think. So you've got 3 towers here, and then, like, this whole area... Is that the sound coming from this thing? It is. That sounds like a church bell. What an annoying noise. I have done these puzzles. I'm just like... It was such a long time ago. So they would have come down from the mountain pass, and they probably would have gone through that little tower there, and then crossed the bridge, and then entered this 3-tower structure over here, whatever the heck this 3-tower structure was supposed to be. But there were bridges going from tower to tower. I know that much. Hi, guys. Bye, guys. I don't remember if there are any light actuators in Inazuma. That's a good question. To be fair, though, there's a lot of stuff in Inazuma that is just... or that is not in Inazuma that should be. Just because it's in Monstadt and Liyue. Because then we've got this whole structure here, and I don't think this was originally supposed to be, like, a bridge with a river that was this high. Because, like, why would you half bury these statues? Like, a lot of these pillars and these statues, they're half buried. So you would assume that at some point, these were completely exposed all the way to the feet like all the other ones were. So this is all sediment. Half of this is buried. This was a lot deeper at one point. And probably not flooded with water. We know Guili Plains suffered landslides. I'm wondering if this area also suffered landslides as a result of a flood. But like maybe a different flood. No, stop that. Oh, come on. Come on, Grandpa. I'm going in the wrong direction. It's fine. This whole thing would have been like what? Like giant city walkways in here? Was it a military base? Who lived here? I don't understand. I hate this. Ah! I didn't mean to go there either. Oh, come on. Man. Get me out of here. Okay, there we go. Up, up, up. There we go. I'm up, I'm up, I'm up. Yeah. And then we have these walkways. So this would have been like at least a 3-story facility. Judging by the depth, well, maybe even 4-story. Because, like, this place also is on the other side of, like, this massive... Oh, my God. Come on. Just run. Because that is also leading us down into this whole thing. So there's, like, there's a whole building right here inside of this mountain. And I can't quite understand whether or not, like, this was built into the mountain? Or if the mountain was built on top of whatever this was. And it kind of looks like the mountain was built on top of whatever this was. Because this doesn't go all the way up. It just kind of stops. And it looks like, if you look, like, it looks like someone put a mountain on top of whatever this is. But then the question is why? And also, how are these lamps still working? It's been like 6,000 years. Don't understand. It's kind of like Guiyun Stone Forest, right? Like, we know what happened to Guiyun Stone Forest. Basically, Zhongli threw a mountain on top of it. So the ruins that were there must have already been there before he threw all the shit on top, right? They must have. They must have already been there. Because you don't just, like, build entire pillars into rock like that and then, like, have the rock shape around things. That's so weird. There's still Yaksha statues over here. Yaksha's here. I don't think there are any down here. I'm going to look for them down here. Guiyun is the place Osile was sealed. Zhongli basically threw a ton of stone at him and buried him down there. You know, that's what I don't get. Like, I don't understand how old this civilization is. And this is part of where my confusion over Liyue's history comes in, right? Because Liyue actually has the oldest history out of the 3 nations that we have so far. With the exception of Enkanomiya. Enkanomiya is the only civilization we have right now that actually competes with Liyue for history. And the reason why is because we know when Morax was born. He was born around 6,000 years ago, a little over then, right? And we know that when Morax was still very young, a star fell in the chasm. And that's what created the chasm. So we have 2 events in Liyue's history that dates it really far back. And then also, even then, 3,700 years ago, I think is the next oldest date we have on record, period. And that's the date of the founding of Liyue Harbor. And a lot of the events that happened in Liyue happened before then. Because remember, Mondstadt's history, we only go back 2,600 years. Like that's a considerable difference, you know, between 3,700 and 2,600, right? Like that's a huge difference. So I'm almost wondering if like this whole civilization was already in ruins before Morax was even a thing, but even that doesn't make sense because again, all of these things show up at Mount Tianheng, and why would they be all the way through Mount Tianheng if that was a mountain that Morax raised? Unless he raised it like 5,000 years ago, which is possible, which would make all of these civilizations here about the same age as Enkanomiya. Likely. Probably. So this happened after the war. I've already done this, Paimon. You don't need to tell me things. This all happened after the war with the sealing of the treasures in here. But it's just weird that they would seal treasures in here. We know some battles happened at these locations, but we don't know what these places were used for before those battles. You guys have to remember, the Bishop civilization was not like actual people. That one loading screen has kind of twisted some people's perception of the history. The Bishop civilization, they're not human in form. I can't not call them a people because like they're a race of beings, but they weren't like people. They didn't necessarily build buildings. They relied on ley lines. That's what sustained them. They were from the light realm, and this is the human realm. Like it's a totally different set of cultures. So whatever's here is here as a result of the human realm. Right? Let's be clear on that. Now, so it doesn't date back as far back as the primordial one, even though we actually don't even know how far back that was. Like it's gonna probably be older than Morax, but probably not as old as a lot of things, because I don't think this planet is actually that old. Hey, look, another thing. It's been a long time since I like actually explored Liyue in depth. I'm finding all sorts of things I missed. Ammonite fossil is mine. It's like another 3,000 Mora. Yay. Add it to my other collection of 16 plus million. I just find this confusing. This, like, I'm probably gonna have to exclude this whole region, but the problem with excluding this whole region is that it brings a lot of question into... Who said Zhongli was that primordial one? No one said that. Did they? I wasn't looking. Yeah, okay. Then, that's right. There are more Yaksha statues over there. I forgot all about those. Let's go look at those. Like, okay, the thing that I'm trying to pinpoint, and the reason why I'm so obsessed with this area right now and why I'm not just, like, writing it off until the chasm comes out, is because I have a theory that the whole area here was really an adeptal space, and that Mount Tianheng might have been just Morax specifically's territory. Like, he just lived on Mount Tianheng, and then the other adepti could have lived at those other cities. That's what they could have been for. However, and which would explain a lot of the Yaksha, since the Yaksha are considered adepti, right? So we have more Yaksha statues right here. And then this place, which goes absolutely nowhere right now. And probably never will go anywhere. I never quite figured out why there was a water wheel here. I think that was a mystery for me for like a long time, and then I don't remember if there was actually an answer. But anyway, maybe that was the road to the chasm originally? Is that what this was? I think it was. I think that's what it was. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out where Guizhong came from. Because she just kind of showed up one day. And as far as I can tell, right? As far as I can tell, Glaze Lilies only grow in the vicinity of Mount Tianheng. Like, they do not grow outside of here unless you count Qingce Village, where they are artificially cultivated. And so I don't count that. So they're only ever really found here, which is weird because originally I expected Morax and Guizhong to have met around here. Like, I figured maybe this whole plains was like a plains of Glaze Lilies. Turns out that's probably not the case because they were only ever native down here to the Sea of Clouds area. Which means that Guizhong met Zhongli somewhere down here. And I'm not convinced that she came from the north to the south to meet him to propose an alliance. I am more tempted to say she came from the west and went east to propose an alliance, solely because of the existence of the Guizhong Ballista. See, if Guizhong was coming from the west and going east to Mount Tianheng, where she would meet Morax over here, right, and propose an alliance, she created the ballista here and points it in this general direction towards this area-ish over here as a means of defense, meaning she recognized that whatever was over here was a threat, but nothing over here or over here was a threat, because she would have then moved with Morax and taken her people up north and then established the Guili Assembly. That's what we know happened. But I'm trying to figure out if she actually came from over here. And that just makes the most sense to me, but I can't prove it. But I can't disprove it either. But the only problem with this theory is that means that, like, while Zhongli probably lived in Mount Tianheng, he also probably established like an old Liyue harbor. Like, originally he probably established it because, like, in the very early beginning, he did fight a sea monster to quell the seas, and the people would sail their ships in this area, right? So he would have had to have calmed at least this area of the sea. So maybe this would have been Baqiao. This would have been the monster mentioned in the Primordial Jadewing Spear. And then over here, this would have been where Osile was. This would have been Osile's domain, right? So I can't help but think of Guizhong as a type of refugee from this region. Because she wasn't a strong god, remember. She was a fairly weak god. And that would make her story mirror that of Havria's. Because Havria was also a really weak god. It's just that rather than choose peace, Guizhong decided to ally herself with strong allies. This is like a weird thing. It's just a random rock in the middle of a pool with a frog on top. Hello, froggy. Mine. Did Zhongli say that Dihua had Glaze Lilies then? I don't remember that at all. Because if that was her domain up north, that changes some things. Because that means that whole region would have been populated by her, and then... But then why would she make the Guizhong Ballista to the south and then take her people north? See, I don't think she ever went north prior to making the thing with... Because if she was from the north, then came south, made an alliance, why would she take people with her down north, or down south, to meet Morax? And then why would she stay there long enough to make her own domain? And then why would she also stay there long enough to develop the Guizhong Ballista with Cloud Retainer? And then point it westward? Because Morax had more than enough military might to take out whoever was over there. I'm sure he wasn't afraid of it. But she decided to put it there for protection. So I don't think it was something that, you know, really mattered much to Morax. So, like, I'm confused by that. Because then afterwards it says, after she placed the Guizhong Ballista, she took her people north. And Madame Ping, during Moonchase, mentioned that when the Guili Assembly fell, Morax took the people back to the south, meaning they were in the south originally. So I feel like if she was ever originally in the north, prior to that, then it would have said she would have taken her people back north. But it doesn't. It just says it takes her people north. So she must have come from somewhere else. My head hurts. I don't know which Archon quest you're talking about. There's a lot of them, and I'm not going to sift through every line unless I know, like, generally which one we're talking about. Like, is it the one with the solitary perfume? Because I'm pretty sure we didn't go to the Dihua Marsh for those. I'm pretty sure we didn't go to Dihua Marsh for the Glaze Lilies. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, mean. I don't want this person here. Make him go away. I don't think that's gonna do you any good, buddy, but you do you. Too many treasure hoarders. Yeah.
The wrong test subject.
Solitary fragrant. Okay. No, it is in here, isn't it? Quest Archive, this one. I never go in here. Wait, no, it's not in here. Oh, no, it's in the travel log. Right. It's travel log. Was it Act 1? No. Act 2? No. This can't. Am I missing one? Is it under solitary fragrance? Solitary fragrance, okay. I don't like not being able to just hit find and replace. Okay, yeah, he does say Dihua Marsh used to be full of Glaze Lilies. Still, though. Still. It used to be. Okay, but the time period he's describing is before the flood, and the flood happened at the end of the Guili Assembly, meaning during his stay there, it was always full of Glaze Lilies. I don't remember where we were with Ganyu. I couldn't find anything on it, and I don't think I actually have footage of it. Ugh. That makes even less sense then. That makes even less sense. Because they do grow wild around Mount Tianheng. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I am in solitary fragrance. Oh, this is worse though. This just makes things worse. Because Zhongli and Guizhong met in a field of Glaze Lilies. Wait. Well, now I have to second guess myself. Was it this one? No. Do I not have this book? Oh no, is this the one that or is it a inventory book? I can never remember. It's an inventory book. Not this one. This one. Yeah, this one. Okay, see, we know here Morax is in Mount Tianheng. That is basically confirmed. And then Guizhong here, it says she set up the crossbow, named it the Ballista, and then she brought her people to the north of Mount Tianheng and taught them how to tend the soil. And that was the area of the Guili Plains. And their domains extended from Mount Tianheng all the way to Stone Gate. But this isn't... Which? It might be Memory of Dust, which I don't have. I might have to go on the wiki and grab it. Um. It's Memory of Dust, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hang on, I'm pretty sure. I have to look it up. Give me a second. No, you can trust some of the books. You can trust books, especially if they're corroborated through multiple sources. But you have to be able to recognize which ones are written by the historians and which ones are written in fiction, right? Like just by novelists. And we have a mix of them, and they're usually marked. Let me grab Memory of Dust really quick. Okay. Oh, she's thirsty. Hang on. I don't know why she doesn't drink a little bit less, like at multiple periods throughout the day. She has to like drink a half a gallon of water in one sitting. The water just sits there for like 2 days and she won't drink, and then she just drinks a half a gallon at one time. She's so strange. Anyway. Okay, I'm looking at Memory of Dust, and the line specifically says, but he remembers the scene of their first meeting anyway when the Glaze Lilies were still in abundant bloom. And then he says he also remembers those words she spoke at the end, again amid the Glaze Lilies, which means she died in the Glaze Lilies. Oh, wow, you guys are like 30 seconds behind me, I think. I think that's why this is funny. Sorry about that. I think I have my delay on too high. No, you're not going outside. You can go out later. She's like, but Mom, I just drank so much water, I have to pee. Do you need to go out? You're just going to want to come back in like in a couple of minutes. Oh yeah, we are in slow mode. I put the chat in slow mode because oftentimes there's too many people in there like typing too fast, and then I can't keep up. And I don't have mods or anything, so anyway. That's why that's probably not helping. Anyway. Okay, this doesn't help. This actually makes things worse. Okay. Guizhong, why are you so annoying? I want to point out something really quick. Typically, the books that are in our inventory tend to be written by either historians or they're like nonfiction. They tend to be. They're not always. Like this one contains stories and legends from an aristocratic period. And the point here is that while these here might not actually be like 100% accurate because they're still folktales and legends, they're not written by a novelist, right? This one, Amber gave us a book of fables. But a lot of these books are, you know, actually somewhat reliable in terms of information. I mean, obviously we've got a light novel here, and then we've got this one for fun. But if you're gonna trust any of the books, I would trust the ones that are actually in our inventory, among all other things. So, Shaoxing Village hasn't come up until this event. Like this is the first time we've seen it. Period, or heard of it, rather, I should say. So I don't know that it's important, but what it does tell me is that there's more to Liyue. However, Zhongli also says it's like up here. in the north. Somewhere up here. Like, I'm gonna guess it's like over here. The reason for that is because one of the sea monsters, Chingsa, or I guess we know him as Chi, actually nested here. So that's one sea monster to the north. That's one sea monster to the west right here, because the Lisha province has myths about a sea king. And this entire area flooded. There's evidence to suggest that there was a sea monster over here. Then there's Bai Chao, which was probably over here to the east. And then another over here to the east. Unless Bai Chao was to the south. And then that's like one sea monster for each cardinal direction, which just makes sense to me. But anyway. I don't think the map is flipped and the north is actually south. But I am somewhat suspicious that Monstadt was originally like the North Pole. Did I talk about Chi of Gunyun? I haven't talked about Chingsa at all, no. I mention him. Actually, there's ruins over here. We've got these ruins. All right. I want to look at these. Oh, these are older ruins. Oh, these are older Mondstadt style ruins. Yep. We're just going to make things even more complicated. Yep. Why not? That sounds great. Yep. Fantastic. Never mind. These do not match the architectural style of the ones down south. So that's a thing. So, like, the confusing thing to me, right, is that we only have documented 2 gods in Mondstadt. There was Decarabian and there was Andreas. That was it. There were 2 gods. There were 2 gods at war. And then Barbados came up and went, hee, and took care of them both. And he ended up winning the Archon War because he was able to take out 2 gods. And technically, he only took out 1. And he didn't even really take out 1. He just kind of helped some people take out 1. And then the other one was like, yeah, you can have the job. I don't want it. And then you've got friggin' Morax over here who's dealing with plagues and disasters, and I mean, there's like 7 or 8 gods that are mentioned by name. And apparently countless more that he's defeated. And I'm looking at Liyue like, why? Oh. Okay. Oh, that's a little overkill. Oh, wait, is it these? Wait. Just guys just casually strolling through. Hey. Wait, where's my thing? Is it these guys? Is this the quest? I've never done this one. Where is this just it? Oh, okay. So it was just the big hilly trail. Okay. I gotcha. Okay, Finny, you can go outside. Hang on. I'm a coming. Yeah. Come on. Out you go, buddies. Anyway. Yeah. So, oh yes, then we have the 9 pillars, which I also actually did not put into the video. I don't have them at all on a timeline. Okay, but see these? There's the Yaksha statues over there too. Right? And we actually have legends about a Yaksha for, well, wait, no, not that one. Which was the one Bosasius or whatever the heck his name was did? I forget. And then we have these stupid ass things that have these architectural. Duh. I guess technically these do match the rest of them though. I just don't quite understand. You know what? You know what I wonder? You know what I wonder? This is called the 9 Pillars of Peace, right? How many gods do I? I've got 4 sea monsters. That's 4. Then Havria, Guizhong, and Morax. So that would bring me up to 8, which would mean it's actually possible here that the 9 Pillars of Peace was at one point supposed to be like a symbol, like a United Nations thing, like a symbol of 9 gods, maybe, that like each pillar represented one of them, and they all agreed to live with each other in peace. I don't remember the lore of this area at all. But it hasn't come up in my timeline either. So now what? Man. The pillars are for the feng shui. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And there are more Yaksha statues in here. Son of a bitch. And the bow and cross. See, like, there's something. There's something this sussy little baka here is not telling us. Okay, I have to do something really quick because this is going to irritate me. It's already irritating me. There. Stop with the arrows. This place is weird. Like, for one thing, I don't know what this place was supposed to be. It's just a big, open, empty room. But we've got this, like, crazy Bowen's cross in the middle again. Right? And who's got a Bowen's cross on his back? It's me. It's me. It's Zhongli. Hi. Something sussy. Actually, you want to know something really sus? There's just this random ass room back here. Maybe this was a gladiator arena. But then why are there guardian Yaksha in here? Alright, so there's mention of Zhongli not only being born over 6,000 years ago, but when he was born was not the same time he descended. It's said that he descended to Tevat, well, to Liyue specifically. But from what I understand, the term used to describe his descension is actually like a similar term used to describe a young prince being disowned and cast out. Something to that effect in the original Chinese. And I guess the reason why that grabbed people's attention was because it's a really hyper-specific term to use. And it gets completely lost in English. I'm actually kind of convinced that all of the gods are technically Seelies. That's kind of where I've landed. Because their job was to guide humanity. That's what the Archons were supposed to do. So it's very possible that, like, the race of gods that he belongs to were all supposed to guide humanity, and that most of them are a type of Seelie, or the envoys of the heavens, or something similar, but it doesn't explain Seelie courts unless that's what happens to a god when they properly die. I don't quite understand that one. Guide and preside is not the same thing, because in Zhongli's story 5, he talks about how, or it talks about rather, how the new Archons, the new 5, don't follow their promise of guiding over humanity, like guiding humanity, that the original 7 were supposed to do. So his job and what Barbados and Morax were supposed to do is pretty different from whatever it is that the other 5 are currently doing. And what we know is that the current other 5 are ruling over their country. So guide and preside are probably not the same thing here. And I'm pretty sure they're very different terms in Chinese. So there's that. Oh yeah, I mean they're totally supposed to be a reference to fey creatures because of the Seelie court thing. Yeah, 100%. It's just in what capacity? I just don't know what to make of this region over here, and I might have to like just skip it entirely, which is incredibly frustrating because that's half of Liyue. But I gotta say, so I wanna, hang on. The Tsaritsa? She should be at least the 3rd generation, I think. Because Morax's story says the seats were exchanged and then exchanged again, which to me says that they were probably exchanged at least twice. Can you not... He's just gonna sit there, isn't he? I'm probably gonna trigger him again. Alright, so that's gonna drive me nuts. The thing about this place here is when you look at it from the map up top, this really feels like a big open palace area. At least it does to me. Because it's such a huge courtyard with nothing else in it. And it's just surrounded by these, like, towers and stuff like that. And I'm kind of sitting here wondering if there was, like, a series of gods that Morax is descended from. Because I don't know if you know this, but Morax is not technically a dragon. He's a half-dragon, half-Qilin. So his birth could have been... interesting. Oh, you don't do anything anymore, do you? Well, that's sad. Wait, you guys didn't know that? Of course, why would you know that? It was like, it's a really obscure thing. And it's kind of only apparent in Chinese because of the way that he's referred to. But his dragon form is like half Qilin, half dragon. He's not like a total dragon. That's fun. So I'm just wondering if like his birth was a result of an alliance between Qilins and or Qilins. I don't know how you properly say it. And dragons. 'Cause that would make sense to me. And if this was like all one huge dynasty that maybe Morax was a part of, and that his dissension was really just him being cast out to make his own way, and so then he like went out to Mount Tianheng and like built his own house, right? Like that would make sense. But then it kind of puts Cloud Retainer in a funny spot because she's a retainer. Not literally. But that would be kind of funny. There's just some really weird things about it. But anyway, this place is actually pretty huge. And it would be even bigger if, I mean, I'm assuming I did this. Oh. You don't recognize my pillar? I am not good at positioning pillars. There. Right on the monies. I don't know where the other one is. I just put that there because I wanted to. Oh, wait. There's one right here. Hello. I'm pretty sure I've done these, but it's been so long. What happens if I do them all? Is there another one? Wait, there's a sign. I want to read the sign. What do you say? Oh, this one. Yeah, no, okay. It's fine. I know that one. I don't care about it. I don't know, this just gives me palace vibes, don't you think? It could be a town with a central courtyard. It could. The thing that's kind of weird about it, though, is that it's kind of like this whole area right here, and like here. So you've got this whole kind of palacey complex, and then as you go up here, let's just go up there. Actually, we'll just go up there. Yeah, why not? I'll show you what I'm thinking. We'll go this way. We kind of went past it already, but like if you just follow these towers all the way up, which you can do because these are all platforms that connect to each other, so you basically follow this promenade almost. Dunyu was not a temple. Dunyu was a trading hub for ore. And mind you, these guys are all like right next to the chasm, which is why I wonder if they might actually be part of it. Anyway, if you follow this up all the way over here, we start to see these towers, and these are more like citadels, right? And citadels would have been used as like, you know, watchtowers. You see? Like, these are definitely, those towers over there especially, are definitely more like military focused than they are pretty stone buildings. Like, this looks like there was a palace built all over this mountain that went all the way up to the top. So this would have been like a spectacularly huge compound. And we know that the ruins go into the mountains because if you do child story quest, this area over here, right here, right? These pipes are from Dottoro's experimentation with the ruin hunters and stuff. And he basically mined into this mountain and built a facility in the old ruins that are in there. So those old ruins are all part of this big compound, which is the weird part. So anyway, so anyway, if you had like a big city hub or a palace down there, and then all of this is sort of like protection, military kind of thing, right? Because you've got all these pathways, these roadways, you've got watchtowers all over the place. And then down in that area takes you straight to Dunyu. This would be the trading hub right over there. So then this watchtower here makes sense. This one makes sense. Oh, he didn't wake up. Cool. We've got this area up here, which is like a big stone courtyard type thing with stairs leading up into the mountains and the fortified little tower over there. And if we keep going... Oh, hi, dude. I don't wanna. Leave me alone. I'm tired and retired. Respect thine elders. All right, and then we end up here. which has the whole triple tower thing, which also looks more maybe like a castle or more like a temple almost, because there are 3 towers, 3 temples. Right, and you have to pass through this little guardy citadel thing, which looks a lot like the bridge type place where the Guizhong Ballista is put, and that's also like a watchtower area. So, I mean, I'm so confused. Are there 9 ruins for the 9 pillars? That is a good question. I guess it depends on how we're going to categorize ruins, but let's try. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. And there's none up here until we get here for 5. And then there's 1 up here. I don't think we'll count that one. Actually. Well, maybe we should. There's at least 5. And then Havria must count as 6. Here's 7. This should be the same one. 8 could be Morax. 9 could be Lihua Pool. I guess there could be 9. It just depends on where the boundaries are. Yeah, it just really depends on where the boundaries are, you know? Oh, well, actually, we could count Guyun as one as well. That would definitely bring us to 9. Alright, I kind of want to wander around the Guili Plains for a bit. Don't shoot at me. I'm just flying here. I'm flying Grandpa. Be nice. Okay. These look to have the exact same architecture as everywhere else. Yeah, okay, so if we don't count the ruins that are up by Chingsa, which I don't really want to because those are Monstadt style ruins, there are actually 9 ruins in this area, or in Liyue, that we've seen so far, and that would actually corroborate the theory that the 9 pillars of peace each represent a different god that ruled over. But why would they all have the same architecture? Is that not weird? This is a weird ruin, too. Like, where did people live? I guess in little buildings like this? This doesn't seem like a very cool house, though. This thing looks pretty old. Why would you want that in the middle of your room? I don't know, maybe these were just, like, temples and stuff, and that's all that's left over, and, like, the houses were built of sticks. Which is still kind of weird in a place where, you know, land of Geo, why don't you build your house with stone? Yum, 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 yum. Rocks. 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 Oh, it went down the hole. Yum. Yum, 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 yum. This place confuses me. I mean, yeah, they all kind of do look like pavilions. They're all arranged in different ways, so maybe they all just kind of like represent different how to say, like sensibilities of each one, like different priorities. Smack. Beef. What's for dinner, except when we have pork. Why don't you say things outside of quests? It's super annoying. I want to go back and reread. Why don't you let me reread? Meanie. And this is Guizhong's research facility. No, it isn't. This is not Gui. But this is like a big water drain. Her research facility is somewhere else. But does this not imply that there might be stuff down there? Or is this... It looks like this stone stuff goes down even farther. So maybe there's a second level? That we can't get to? I mean, that seems feasible. Plausible, even. What is Guizhong doing in Lihua Pool anyway? That means this area over here would also have to be part of the Guili the assembly. This whole thing here. I really hope that Genshin at some point gives us the ability to go into the past, and because I want to see like all of these buildings completely rebuilt. I want to see what they look like. At least if we can't go into the past, then I wanted to do like the thing that Enkanomiya did, right? Where like you could turn it to Evernight and then see everything. Okay, here's the thing. This whole area is submerged, and there's a lot of stuff under here that looks like it was never supposed to be submerged, like this stuff. So the water level definitely went up. Like this should have all been like walkable. But we know there was a lot of landslides and flooding here when the Guili assembly fell, so that makes sense. I don't know why she would build her domain in a hole, though. It's a weird place to put your shit. These pools always feel so warm. Like a hot spring. I don't know if there's actually supposed to be warm. They would just always feel that way. And we've got these things that have their eyeballs. Hello, eyeballs. Alright, that's driving me nuts. And then we go in here and it's like, what is this place? Also, I think these are the spiders that Albedo's talking about. He's like, they're giant spiders that eat down there, and they're really good if you crisp them up. Nom, yum, 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 yum. I eat bugs. Well, I don't eat bugs, I eat arachnids. But yeah. These little treasure rooms. Maybe this was a prison. That's a really weird thing to... Because, like, why would you have something with a gate like that unless you're protecting something, right? So either a treasure room or a prison type thing, but Guizhong, what the hell are you doing over here then? Well, I mean, I guess she was technically using their domain for, like, experimentation and research into ancient and evil machines, so maybe she stored them in there. Yeah, it's a possibility, right? And then we have these things. Hi. 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 Okay, I'm gone. Num, 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 num. It's just weird that there are Yaksha statues literally all over Liyue. Like, all over. Is there anywhere we don't see Yaksha statues? Hey, Potato, thank you for your super chat. Hello to you, too. Greetings from a potato. I want to look at Havria's stuff. Oh, Rose, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate it, guys. Somehow I feel like some of you are telling me that, I'm thinking too hard and I'm losing my mind and it's probably not worth it. And you're right. You are right. It's probably not worth it. I'm gonna do it anyway! Woohoo! Yeah, exactly. They're Yaksha statues and they're everywhere. And I don't get it. Why are they everywhere? And like, if the Yakshas were like such a huge thing... Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, big boy wants to play. Okay. I don't know what happened. Did he fall? Oh, okay, that was funny. All right. Down the hole. Oh, that was farther than I remember it being. Alrighty. I don't think there's any architecture down here until you actually go in the domain, and I can't go in the domain because I've already done the quest. So, yeah. That might be a problem. It does feel like it's like... This is definitely constructed, though, like, afterwards. There's a salt cavern, right? That's her, that's the entrance to the... Yeah. Okay, well, there's no architecture here, apart from, like, the lanterns and stuff. So, I mean, there are these, but these are... I think this is older architecture than everywhere else. I need to find some pillars or something so I can date them. Or not date them, but group them with some other stuff. I'm pretty sure these are like... I call them Solvindignir ruins. They're not technically just limited to Solvindignir, but like that's primarily where you find them. I mean, these are kind of like primarily Mondstadt ruins. But you know, Havria might not have actually been... Yeah, okay. So Havria's whole thing in Saltaire, this is Solvindignir style ruins. These are not the same type of ruins as everywhere else. She might have been a Mondstadt god. Or like a Borderlands god. Or she retreated to an area that was occupied by something else. This might have been Mondstadt at one point. Weird. There's a pillar over there too I want to look at. Interesting. Interesting. I want to go this way. I don't know. I can't believe I missed this pillar. Like I can't really date these, but they don't look very Liyue. Yeah, this is like a Solvind pillar. This is totally a Solvind pillar. So this whole region is done with Solvind architecture. Huh. Interesting. I guess that makes sense, though, because if you look over there... all of the ruins over here would have been... All of the ruins over in this region would have been Solvending, not... Yeah, because this is the thing we're looking at from over there. And these are Solvend ruins. Okay. Well, they're not actually I shouldn't call them that. There's been attempts in the lore community to kind of like categorize the ruins into like type A, type B, that kind of stuff. I just can never remember type A, type B. Because see, this should have been like a massive structure by the size of this wall alone. It should have been huge. And this is technically in Liyue, but it borders Monstadt. So it's not like Liyue exclusive architecture like you will find more west. But interestingly, that might not be Liyue specific architecture because like that's heading over towards Sumeru. So it's possible that like we had regional differences in terms of different types of ruins. However, all of that said, that is kind of at odds with a couple of things. I know you're wondering why we're in Inazuma. Don't worry about it. I should have just warped. Okay, see, same type of ruins as we were just looking at, but now we're in Inazuma. So, yeah. These are technically Solvend ruins. Well, not again, they're not from Solvendignir. It's just this is the same type of architecture that was there. The reason why I call it Solvend is obviously because we've seen it in Solvendignir, but also I want to point out that I want to point out something. I gotta remember where it is. Where is it? It is down here on Sarumi some friggin' where. Because the same structures are in Sarumi as well. I just can't freaking remember where. Somewhere underground. Chirai. Yeah, right. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I guess you guys know where I'm going with this. The ones who are suggesting where I'm going probably know where I'm actually going with this. Yeah, same floor tiles. Wrong way. Oh, hi, dude. Uh-huh. I'm looking for something specific. It's gonna take a minute to get there. Out of stamina, time to fight. Wow, really? This is why I don't really care much for Jade Wing, because I have to build up stacks in order to hit the same level of like attack that I get with Lithic. And it's fine somewhere in Abyss, but in Overworld, I don't like it so much. Alright, so we've got this stuff we can date to around here. But specifically, I'm looking at this. Alright. And see these ruins in here? There's a whole area that's under the sea, and yet light is somehow coming through, because that makes a whole lot of sense. And no, you can't climb up there. I've tried. You can't climb through the light. It's just like solid. The light is solid. So it might be glass or something that you can't get through. But point is, take a look at this observatory. Or this tower dome thing. And then we go all the way back here. And then we have the exact same tower dome in the center of Old Mondstadt, which was technically Decorabian's tower. Right? So we've got this repeating architecture. And granted, oops, Decorabian's tower is, in Decorabian's Old Mondstadt architecture, is slightly different from Solvindignir, but not that much. It's the same type of stone, similar symbolism, similar methods of construction, all that other kind of stuff, similar designs, blah, 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 blah. So, this annoys me for obvious reasons. And then we've got that whole tower thing going on for that. We're gonna do this whole thing one more time. It's not reused assets here. miHoYo was not afraid to make used assets. They made an entire dungeon of salt and like individual salt statues and stuff just for Havria's domain, and that was a one-time thing. Like you see it once and then never again. So now we're over here, right? By the way, this symbol is the one that you find underneath hypostases. However, once you bust through here, this goes down. And the architecture down here is the same as before. And you can go down for a while. Like, you can keep going down. But the point I was trying to make here is that while you can keep going down and everything, like, these ruins go down really far. And I think... That's mine now. Oh, there's lots of things down here. I forgot about all this. Well, while we're here, may as well just grab the num-nums. Give me the num-nums, give me the num-nums. I want the num-num-num-num-num. I want more num-nums. Gimme, 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 yeah. Alright. So, well, we've got all these. The layered structure of this area down here reminds me a lot of Decorabian's tower. And then, I wanted to go somewhere else, but now I've forgotten where I wanted to go. I want to go somewhere else. Where was it? Where was it? Where was it? Oh, shoot. I forgot. I was going to go somewhere else. Crap. Where was I going? I was going somewhere. Was it in Liyue? I don't think it was in Liyue. Oh, dear. Oh, well, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. It happens. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, right. I was going to Enkanomiya. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Rose. You reminded me. But say, since I'm here in Dragonspine, you can see that the architecture here is actually, again, the same. Yeah. As the ones we've been looking at. And then, I did want to go to Enkanomiya. I did. Because I can't remember now. Architecture here is slightly different. Kind of, sort of, very different. It's a very different vibe. However, it is a bit more similar to the types of designs and stuff that we see in Liyue. However, it's still different from both of them. Which makes sense because it would put it at a different time period / semi-civilization. But it's still kind of weird that we've got these really ancient structures all through Liyue that have architecture that match Solvindignir, and yet this is supposedly the ancient civilization underneath Liyue. However, when you start to look closer, you'll start to see these repeating shapes and stuff right here, right? Like here. Like the knotworks on the trim and stuff. And those are very reminiscent of the Solvind architecture. So while this area is much more angular, it does seem to be from a slightly closer source than the Western Liyue architecture is to Solvind. So. We don't actually know how old Enkanomiya is, so we can't actually say with confidence that it's older. That's kind of the problem. Like, I'm calling it Solvendegmir architecture, but that's just because I know it was up until about 2,600 years ago, because that's around the time when Eamon was a thing, and that would have put it at the same time as Old Mondstadt, and Old Mondstadt fell at 2,600 years ago, and, you know, that kind of stuff. And that would have been, like, maybe midway through the Archon War? Midway, kind of towards the end a little bit. And while, yeah, Enka is pretty old, it's just, like... It means that there was, like, another civilization that happened. Right, let me see if I can explain the thought process here. Like... Enkanomiya being really, really, really old, and probably one of our oldest architectures, right, doesn't explain how this is all here and a thing. And it doesn't mean that it actually predates all of this. Because all of this is spread out throughout the entire world. There's ruins of this in Liyue, there's ruins in Monstadt, it's obviously in Dragonspine. We can date this exact architecture to Decarabia. So we can actually date how late these types of things were occupied, which is about 2,600 years ago. Which means that this civilization would have been active during the time when Makoto was an Archon, or at least, like, when she was still fighting. And that's where I get confused in terms of timeline, because it doesn't make any sense. That would mean that they would have occupied these types of things, but then why would they have, like, their own Inazuman culture and language and customs and everything that Orobashi has to teach the Enkanomiyans if this is the kind of stuff that they were living in, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense, because this is the same as everywhere else. And they talk about one unified culture, right? Well, this is so far the one unified culture that we've seen, because this is the repeating architecture that we've seen everywhere, not Enkanomiyans. Enkanomiyan is very reminiscent of this, but we're not actually sure how much of that was, like, new construction and how much of that was, you know, based on whatever this is. So that's where we, you know. Anyway, I still don't know what Lisha is about. At this point, friends, I think I could probably make an entire theory video just on the Yaksha statues. Teyvat does not have Conrian architecture. I know where that theory comes from, and it's still just a theory. It's not one of those things I like to claim as fact, because we don't know what Conrian architecture looks like. We don't know what level of civilization they were at. And there is no evidence to suggest that any of this is related to Conria. Specifically because things like teleport points use waypoints. Or, sorry, they use ley lines. So do statues of 7, and those seem to function on the same technology. And why would Conria create the statues of 7? That makes 0 sense. So, like, there's little things like that that don't add up. And so that's why I say you really shouldn't talk about this all being Conrian architecture. We don't know what Conrian architecture looks like. We have Zippo to go on. In fact, the best example of Conrian architecture, as far as we can tell, might be the Spiral Abyss. That's like the only thing we can say. Like, that is the closest thing. And the Spiral Abyss doesn't look like this. Sometimes I want to create an alt account just so I can go through and, like, play through all of this, but with the eye of someone who's actually hunting for lore and hidden secrets and things like that. Because I remember nothing. Because back then, it was like 1.1, 1.2. I was just having fun. I was following the story, but not, like, hunting for things. And this is one of the Yakshas. One of the Yakshas made this. Which, when you think about it, is actually kind of another weird thing. So the Yakshas had all these statues everywhere. They're also considered Adepti because they're both illuminated beasts. Oh yeah, see, there's another instance where they call Xiao Alatus. I got into an argument the other day with somebody who said that it's never been proven that Zhao's name is Alatus. It's just in his constellation. And I'm like, no, it's definitely been there. And then I couldn't remember where I'd read it, and this is where it was. And one other place, too, that I found recently in a book. But, yeah, yep, stream stays on YouTube. I unlist them, but I do have a playlist of all my streams, and all of my streams go in there. So you can always go back and see them. I don't know why you want to. The quality is pretty low, and it's usually just me rambling on and on and on. And the fact that you guys like listening to me talk is absolutely baffling. Whatever. Anyway, this was one of the surviving Yaksha, or at least one Yaksha that survived long enough to make a light actuator, or at least figure out how to manipulate a light actuator. And then hide all his treasure in this little palace temple thing here. Which is kind of a weird thing because light actuators are in Storm Terror's lair as well. I don't remember if there's any in Inazuma. I can't remember any. What, like, isn't that strange that a Yaksha's using a light actuator? Like, this is full of constellations. Look, the golden streaks are all constellations. It's a super weird thing. Light actuators are like seals, to give some. I feel like if I give some better context, it might help a little bit. We're not 100% sure what light actuators are, or necessarily what they do. We know a couple of their functions. It's all the way over there. Or maybe it's not all the way over there. There's one over here. I just can't. I'm looking in the wrong direction because that's what I do. That makes sense. Okay, so there's this one, right? We've got this one big-ass light actuator in the middle of Storm Terror's lair. There are 3 of them, and we needed to use one of them in each location. So we had to activate them in order to dispel the wind barrier around the tower to actually get to it. That was a thing. There are 3 of these. And it's interesting because they are full of symbolism. We've got a triquetra, we've got a triskelion, we've got triangles, we've got 3 circles, which could be moons. We've got things spinning around in circles like a spiral. We've got constellations. We've got the light realm symbol in the middle there with the square with the 8 points. Like, there's so much going on here. Yeah. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. I'm very confused about the existence of these Yaksha statues just being everywhere. Because I don't know what to make of them. Unless they were also some sort of symbol of a unified civilization, which doesn't make any sense to me, because why then would this style of stuff only appear in Liyue and not anywhere else? Although, it is worth pointing out, that we are in Liyue and we can I'm not actually gonna do this one. Yeah. But this style of architecture here is actually kind of similar to the stuff we find all over Liyue, just in general. And then obviously we have the Bowen's Cross here again, just like we do on the back of Zhongli. So I can't help but feel like it was all one giant cohesive dynasty at one point, and then everyone turned on each other. Don't you think? Because it's similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. But I can't include any of this in the video. Like, I can't. Because including any of this in the video treads into theory territory, and it's supposed to be a lore video. Which is one of the reasons why I don't really like doing lore videos, specifically. Because like, there's so much unknown, it's too difficult to just make straight up, here's everything exactly how it is, you know? There's too much. There's too much. And this had to be a watchtower of some sort. And Decorabian's tower, I think, is supposed to be an observatory. Why are there Yaksha statues here? It's just too confusing. Well, I didn't auto-target back because he's dead. I see. Gotcha. Because these are stone spears from Yaksha statues. And they all use the same architecture, which suggests that they were all from the same empire. But all of this matches Guili Plains. So maybe they're not all the same empire, but just, I don't know. I'm confused. I want a book. Can I get a book on this? Like, can someone please get me a book? You know what? Just because I'm full of so much hopium, which I know is like, I know there's not going to be anything here. Listen, my video quality is always going to be crunchy. My internet upload speed is shit. There's nothing I can do about it, so suffer along with me, will ya? I'm probably going to sign off here in a bit and give my brain a break. For fun today, I was listening to podcasts on fiscal policy, and I realized after that that maybe I need to find less mentally intensive hobbies. Wait. Where's the bookstore? Oh, the bookstore's over there. I went to the wrong thing again. I know there's not going to be anything there, but I'm going to go anyway. And just pretend like I'm asking for books. Because it's going to make me feel better. Hi. I want books. I want new books. Give me new books. How do you stay in business? It's been 2 years. You haven't had a single new book in that whole time. Listen, lady, I am your master. Give me books. Okay, fine. I'm tired. It's been a long time. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been more like 18 months ish, thereabouts. So not quite 2 years, but I don't care about Inazuma books. Inazuma books are boring. Like I say this, but Inazuma's history is actually fairly well documented, just like Mondstadt. Like I'm pretty confident about being able to make a decent video explaining that one. Even with all the twists and turns that we've had. It's really just Liyue that's annoying. I didn't get them all. That's okay. I don't kill Timmy's pigeons because there are other pigeons elsewhere. Why would I kill somebody's pets? It's so mean. These are technically pests, right? I'm doing people a favor. Yeah. Give me that chicken. Thank you. Also, I want one of these. Oh, wait, no, not one. Okay, that's fine. I didn't mean to do that, but I'll take one of those. I can always use one. Wait, I thought I had 40 resin now. Oh, I have 35, that's why. Never mind. I lied. My bad. It's okay. I'll take one. This rock is the weirdest friggin' thing. Anyway. Back to Painland. While I try and figure out what's going on. I wonder, you know, I wonder, there was this whole thing where the Adepti asked to be turned to stone when they outlived their usefulness. I wonder if the Guardian Yaksha statues are technically not from the same era as the ruins around them, but if they're like Adepti that have been immortalized in stone. And they just all take the same form because reasons. I don't know. I don't know, Xiao, what do you think? That one points his spear up, that one points his spear down. As above, so below. Nope, 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 nope. Oh man, guys, like I the other day, when the banners came out, I was like, you know, I might consider like throwing a 10 pull at Kokomi just to see if I can randomly get her, because I really do like her, but not like enough to spend a ton of primos on her when there's another character that I want coming up. So like I'll just throw a 10 pull and see if I get her, because I'm a little bit in. And the patch has just dropped, and I like to go through all of the menu items when the patch just drops, just to clear out the little red exclamation marks because they bug me. And sometimes when I click these, they don't go to the menu item that I want. Like sometimes if I go down, it doesn't go to the profile. Sometimes it doesn't go to the map. Sometimes I can go to the profile and it looks like it goes to the profile, but then it actually goes to the map. So I was trying to go to the battle pass to clear the little exclamation mark there. And I accidentally went to the wish screen, and by muscle memory, I was pressing the Y button to collect my battle pass stuff. And I ended up throwing a 10 pull on Raiden's banner. Because I had like 20 fates, like normal fates, that I just hadn't spent or saved. And I, for a solid minute, thought I was gonna get a Raiden. And if you know me, you know I'm not the biggest fan of Raiden. I don't like her much at all. I mean, I like her as a character, but I don't like her, like she's not one of my faves, you know? Like, I don't really want to play her. So I was really terrified for a minute that I had accidentally done it. So, but that is why I don't actually convert my primos into fates when I get them. That's why I keep them all as primo gems. Because if you accidentally hit the Y button to do a summon, and you don't have fates and you just have primos, it'll give you like the confirmation screen, and you don't have any scares. Yeah. Anyway. You know, I probably wouldn't have read most of the books in the game or anything either, except I have a lot of meetings. And a lot of the meetings I don't really need to be in, but like they ask me to be in them anyway, so I just go. And so I tend to read things if I'm not being used in the meetings. It just so happens to be very useful to do this one. There's all these pillars up here too. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I always forget that house is over there. There's definitely pillars here. There's pillars over here. I mean, this must have been a settlement, right? Like, there must have been something here. There's stairs right here. Ancient stairs going all the way up. And then there's this over here. That was definitely a thing. And then, of course, there's, like, that whole area in there that I used to go to a lot and don't go to anymore. But let's go down there because we can. I don't remember why I used to. Why did I used to go down here? I forget. Why did I used to go down here? I can't remember. Hi. Oh, there's a lot of you, huh? Oh. That's not what I wanted. Oh, well. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, it's a pretty cool spot in here, except we're still in that situation where we've got a lot of stairs that go nowhere. Like this. I mean, these stairs actually go somewhere, don't they? Yeah, they kind of do. They come back out here. Well, anyway, what do you say? Oh. This. Right, yeah. I remember. Yep. I don't know anything about that. All I know is that Havria is based on the demon from the Ars Goetia known as Havris. She just got her name femininized. Kind of like how Guizhong is supposed to be Guizhong from the Ars Goetia. Yeah. Same thing. They're demon names. That's actually kind of why I thought for a while that Osail and Baichao were actually like the same demon. Because I thought Baichao might have been his you know, Liyue name, and then Osail was like his demon name, because Osail is likely Ose. Or Belial, but probably Ose. And then they just built this whole city on top of a bunch of piles of rock. Solomon is like the traveler, man. I'm pretty sure. I want to climb. Climb the tallest mountains. Climb the tallest buildings. Yeah! I'm so tall. Can't call me small anymore. Yeah. Okay. I see a couple of interesting questions in chat, and then I think I'm gonna take a break and go rest my brain. Yeah. Colorless Guard asked, what do you think about Dainsleif's remarks about books on history becoming fiction over time? From Yai's Collected Miscellany. I'm pretty sure that's just him commenting on her method of exaggerating tales in books when she's writing her light novels, because she only likes things that are interesting, and so she likes to embellish a lot. We saw that with the the book that she wrote with the Traveler in her story, or in her story quest. I think that's all that really is. I don't necessarily think that he's saying all books in the game are 100% fiction with time, but like it is important to remember that like history does get distorted with time. It's just one giant game of telephone. It doesn't matter how accurately you try to transcribe events. Like, things are going to get a little bit lost, and that's why we try to piece things together the best we can by looking for patterns in stories, like different stories from different areas. So while no one source is probably completely reliable, when you start to merge multiple sources together, you can kind of pick and choose the bits that overlap and put together a story that makes sense. It's kind of how I think about it, but... Herald of the End, I've seen this question in chat a couple of times, and the reason I haven't answered it is because we already know that the Memory of Dust has Guizhong's knowledge in it. And if we're going by Tevat's definition of knowledge, it could be her spirit, her memories, it could be anything. I mean, it's called the Memory of Dust, and she says she put all of her knowledge into it. So, I mean, we already know that that's a thing. But even then, like, she gave him the Memory of Dust long before she died. So it's not like solving the puzzle and opening the Memory of Dust would, you know, bring her back or anything. It's kind of like how Makoto's consciousness from within the sword didn't actually resurrect her. It just let her pass along a message before she finally faded away. So, I mean, it's possible that we'll get something like that, but probably not till Zhongli's another one of Zhongli's story quests, which I don't know when we'll get. If ever. Honestly. Actually, I want to look at something. I don't know if the Memory of Dust was a love letter to him. I'm hesitant to say that because see, these are Solvind. Look, these are Solvind ruins. These are these are not Liyue ruins. That's right. Oh, I missed that one. Oh well. That's fine. We still haven't gotten a Venti's second story quest yet. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a Venti's second story quest either just before Sumeru or during Sumeru. And the reason why I think that's a good time is because Venti is very chock full of lore. And when we hit Sumeru, believe it or not, we will be technically halfway through the story. So if we don't get a Venti lore dump around the Sumeru time, there will never be a time when it will be appropriate. And I am almost 100% certain that his story quest will involve Decarabian, and that we'll end up fighting him. I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident in that. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But we've gotten Aya's second story quest. We've gotten Zhongli's second story quest. So Venti should be up next. And if there's one thing I'll say, I do think that almost every Mondstadt character seems like they're going to have some sort of greater importance than probably any other character from any other region. Which seems difficult to believe, I recognize, just due to, I don't know, the way the game kind of makes you think about stuff. But look, we got tiny ballistas. Little ballistas. This one's still broken, still sitting here. They're kind of funny looking. Oh, okay then. Thing is like, these actually seem to run on adeptal energy because they shoot like light arrows, and I wonder if the Guizhong Ballista itself actually shot light arrows or if it shot, where are you? Come back here. I wonder if the Guizhong Ballista shot light arrows or like actual missiles. Because it has a bowstring and everything. So I feel like it shoots real missiles, whereas these do not have bowstrings. So I was just wondering. Saddest character backstory, honestly, Zhongli. After reading the Summit Shapers lore, I kind of realized that he literally broke so many times. Do you think Fu Hua will come in Genshin as Gu Hua, or do you think Fu Hua is Shenhe? I think Fu Hua is Madame Ping. Is the Traveler both Solomon and Lucifer? I mean, that's an interesting question. I think I think it's a little more complicated than that. I'm not entirely sold on the Lucifer story anymore, even though supposedly we're looking at the twins as morning and evening stars and stuff like that. I am not entirely sure what to think, but I do think that if we're not Solomon, then Paimon is Solomon. Like, but that's also weird because Paimon is technically a demon. But the thing is Asmodeus, which is the name of the sustainer of heavenly principles, in real mythology, Asmodeus took Solomon's ring from him and ruled in his place for 40 days. And since the sustainer of heavenly principles shares that name, and we've also got all these Ars Goetia demons and everything, like, it's reasonable to assume that Susti stole something from somebody and is ruling in their place for a period of time. The fact that it's 40 days is interesting because we've got Noah's Ark with its 40 days and 40 nights at sea, and Moses with his 40 days and 40 nights. Like, we've got a lot of 40 days, 40 nights kind of thing going on, so I think that's interesting. But the idea of having, like, one unified culture, one unified civilization and everything, and I don't know, like, there's more to it, I think, than we can kind of picture at the moment. Because, like, one theory I'm working on right now, which is my Honkai Impact, Genshin Impact Revisited theory, where we look at the true purpose of the Gnosis, for reals this time. I was, like, I was looking into the possibility that there was a civilization before the primordial one. which is a topic that does not get discussed. No one really looks into that as a possibility. I think it's very likely. So it's something I wanna look into. So if there was a civilization before the primordial one showed up, and I'm not talking about a Vishop civilization, I'm talking about one that came before the Vishops. So if there was a civilization before then, and there was a civilization after that, the primordial one civilization, and then that's the one that Enkanomiya belonged to, then we start to see some structural things that might make a little sense, except that also doesn't explain Selvindignir. The only thing I can really think of that would make perfect sense in terms of the architectural stuff, but is an answer I don't want to accept, is that Teyvat is like a giant Rubik's Cube. And basically, because the memory of time and space and everything is kind of malleable to the and kind of merged to the whims of gods, that it's possible that when reality gets altered, the whole world kind of gets shuffled around. And that it's possible that we have pieces of history in places that they're not supposed to be. Which would explain a lot of ruins and a lot of timeline shenanigans. Really? Do you just have like a lot of HP, or like what's up? Okay. This is why I don't like Primordial Jadewing. You have to build up stacks, and I don't get to see my big Shao numbers. With full stacks, I get like 36k, and I can one-shot lots of things, but I have to build stacks, which is fine in Abyss, but I hate it everywhere else because it's so slow. Anyway, I think about that kind of thing a lot, probably more than I should, and it bothers me. So there's that. But yeah, anyway, this is me losing my mind over Liyue's history. I do have a cohesive enough timeline that it makes some amount of sense, that I think will be perfectly fine for a beginner's guide. But what I will say is that we probably shouldn't expect me to have the Chasm beginner's guide completed for quite a while after the Chasm comes out, because I feel like I'm gonna have to do some piecemealing together of not just the Chasm's lore, but like how the Chasm factors into the western part of Liyue. So there's that. Anyway, I do have an outline done. It does make sense. I tried to keep as much in there as I could. It is fairly cohesive. I am making a couple of assumptions. I'm trying to stay away from theories, but I have to make a couple of assumptions just to kind of like help things make sense and fill in some gaps. Otherwise, it feels too disjointed. You know what I mean? I'll mark those though. And that they might need to be corrected. One thing that I know I'm zooming into Xiao's butt, but oh my god, really? I wanted to look at something. Leave me alone. Jeez. I wanted to look at something. Yeah, that's what I thought. That symbol is really similar to a symbol that Dainsleif has on. Anyway. Hi. You're a very talented ventriloquist. Anyway. There are no leaks in my chat, please. I'm not talking about anything related to the Chasm beyond there was a star that fell there. Ajdaha was fought there, and those kinds of things. So Any guess on what type of character Dainsleif will be? Dainsleif's not a character, he's a sword. He's gonna be on the weapon banner. No releasing the leaks. The patch is here soon enough. Like, we're gonna get a live stream like next week. Like, relax. You guys think I'm kidding. I actually am suspecting that he might just be on a weapon banner. Like, I'm not just saying that. I actually think that's a possibility. There is a possibility, too, that we will get 2 new elements before Dainsleif gets released. Hey, a chest. I want it. Mine. Mora! Oh, no, Geosigil. Well, that's still Mora. The Liyue, the Inazuma ones give, like, 10,000 Mora per. Feels like such a ripoff. Anywho. If Dainsleif does end up being on the weapon banner and he does end up being Kaya's best in slot, that would be the most hysterical thing ever. I feel like it's such a long shot, though. I don't think it would ever actually happen. I collected some sigils, which feels weird, so take my sigils, please. I want to feel like I actually have explored all of Liyue. So just take those out of my inventory, please. Yep. And while I'm thinking of it... Well, Dainsleif, as the word goes, is the name of a sword from mythology. It's not a character. You guys want to see the part of my teapot that I'm most proud of? Like, the only part that I've actually really put a lot of effort in? Want to see my little farm? This is my little farm. Welcome to my farm! It's my little farm. Yay, I'm farming things. This is my farmhouse. And this is where I farm the fishes. Over here. And this is where I eat things. And this is how you get into the farm. This is my little farm. I'm very proud of my little farm. This is all I've ever done in the teapot. Yep. 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 Good times. Yep. Yep. Anyway. That's kind of all I got, guys. That's all I got. You got to see me lose my mind over Liyue, and if you just showed up, rewind and watch me slowly go insane over Yaksha statues, of all things. Yeah. I'm gonna go. I don't think I have any more lore bits to give. Nope. I am planning to get the video out this weekend, though, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe Monday or Tuesday at the latest. But the next theory video is probably going to be, like, at least another week out, okay? Because, I gotta let that one cook. I still have little holes to fill and stuff in it, so we'll see. Yeah. Rough idea of when this one? You mean the Liyue one? Monday at the latest, I think. Editing the video actually isn't as hard as writing it most of the time. So I should finish it this weekend, but I don't know if it'll get up until Monday. But yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate it. I'm glad to go insane in good company. So I will catch you guys next time. So see ya. Bye. 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 Goodbye. Bye.